What is up, guys? How are you? As always, the tradition. Let me know how the audio sounds, if everything sounds good. If you guys are picking me up, good. If there's any lag or anything. Thank you to those that are here, as always. It's a pleasure to be here with you. I've said it a million times. I really enjoy these lives. I think I'm going to keep reminding people every time I do them because I get to talk to the community, the people that enjoy my content and are looking for the truth, searching for answers like myself. If you're watching this as a replay as well, thank you. And if you are then listening to this at some time as a podcast, thank you as well. So how is everyone? Let me know in the live chat how you're doing. It's Sunday. I think this is the new day for the lives, Sunday. It gives me a good amount of time to work on content throughout the week and not overlap with anybody else going live or any of that. So it gives us like our own space to sit down and talk. Let me check out the live chat. Let me see who's here. I see Dope Nose. What's up, man? He says, hello all. Paul Jones. Hey, Paul. How you doing, man? Bug. Dice, hola. What's up, Bug? It's good to see you in the live chat. So before we kick it off, if you guys can do me a huge favor, those of you tuned in, share this link for this live on any social media platform that you use. Let's get some more people in here to join the discussion because really this is about you guys in the live chat, what you guys want to talk about, what your thoughts are, and where we can go from there. Right. It's sort of like a brainstorming session or a thought experiment where we can just kind of sit down, not have to worry about proving anything or disproving anything. We can if we want to, but this is just a healthy kickback discussion for Sundays. Jedi Camper's here. What's up, man? Good to see you, man. Give me a second, guys. I got to clear the throat there. Take a sip of water. Bug says he already shared on Twitter. Thank you, Bug. Thank you, man. Pro, what's up, dude? He says it's been a long time. It has, man. I'm glad to see you here, as always. So how you guys feeling? How's everything going? Today's topics, I put two in here. One, because Skinwalkers at the Pentagon has been out, for I think 2 weeks now. It dropped 2 weeks ago. I finished reading it maybe a week ago. I don't think I've ever gone through a book so fast. So I hope you guys have picked it up. If you haven't, we're going to talk a little bit about it. I'm not going to spoil anything for you guys. I was thinking, should I do like a long breakdown of it, like chapter by chapter or something? But then I said, I really want people to experience the book and read the book. And I don't want to spoil anything for them. People on Twitter right away were sharing, screen grabs of the book. I shared a screen grab of the book, I think once. So I'm guilty as well. But after a while, I was like, hey, everybody's talking about this. Nobody's going to want to read it. And I think it's an important read. I think it's one of those books you're going to want to have in your collection going into the future. Let's check out the live chat again. 631 Flyrail. He says, hello from FLA. What's up, man? Thank you for being here. UFO video addicts. Talk about the advanced species that live in our oceans. Well, that is a theory. That is a theory, my friend. That is what lots of people are talking about. And it's something that most of you here in the live chat have probably considered. I brought it up. I made even short animations about it before in the past that it seems like the best place to hide, right? Say we're from another planet or another dimension or whatever. I feel like the ocean is the best place to hide, the best place to rest your head without having to worry about humans really interfering with you too much. Let me know, guys, if the stream is coming in clear because I can see it on StreamYard. But when I just switched over to YouTube, it looked like it was lagging a little bit, but just let me know. Oh, I see that. He says stream and voice is breaking up a bit. Thank you, Pro. Well, I am using StreamYard. I'm not sure why that's happening. Let me try something. I'm going to try and close something that I have open here, which might be causing that to happen. Give me a second. I don't want this to completely ruin the stream now, but I'm going to fix it now, just in case. You know, it is a little difficult working with limited tools. And I know people, there's a lot of voices out there right now, great voices, interesting people that are bringing up great topics and really growing the discussion about the phenomenon and sort of spreading it out. I mean, that's what we need. We really do need this topic to become not taboo at all and something that can be openly talked about without any issue. And anytime anyone sits down to talk about this, I think it is helpful, because even if it reaches one person, 10 people, 500 people, 300 or more, whatever, thousands, it's important. Not all of us are scientists. Not all of us are in the military or have access to secret programs and all these kinds of things. You know what I mean? What I'm trying to say is not all of us have the same tools as everyone else, but everyone has something that they can offer to the discussion and to the search for the truth. It's something that I've been really thinking about lately, because it seems like the scientific community is really focused on data, which data is very important. But there are certain people out there that are dedicated to getting that data. They're not going to sit down and have discussions with you guys. They might go on a channel every once in a while, but they're not going to open up and talk to you guys like this, right? This is something that is healthy in the sense of we can all share our ideas and our thoughts. We can see what theories we can maybe build from this. Like you guys just brought up the idea that there's intelligent life in the ocean, like these beings are hiding in the oceans or living in the oceans, is something that we should consider, seeing as a lot of UFOs are seen around large bodies of water. It is tied to sightings. It's one of those traits that you see come up again and again throughout the years. So this is very healthy. This is very good. Not everything has to be like, so intense all the time. When I gotta stop saying, I took 2 weeks off of doing lives, and I got that thing back where I say, all the time. And it frustrates me because I feel like my mom says, a lot. And like, I feel like foreigners, people that, I just said it again. People that, maybe not foreigners. I don't know. I just feel like my family used, a lot. So I'm going to try my best not to use it. Whatever. Back to the topic. I just realized also I'm not wearing my hat. It is here. You might have noticed too that I got a haircut. I did get a haircut. And now when I wear my hat, I look like I went completely, like I shaved my entire head. So I might not wear the hat. How about I don't wear the hat today? I'll wear it next time. I'm thinking of getting new hats too, because these have been around for a minute. I need some new hats. I'm sorry for that. 1 second, guys. All right, I'm back. So let me check out the live chat. Let's get back into the live chat. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to close this, and that should help everything. Okay. I see Alien Girl's here. She says, hey, John. What's up, Alien Girl? How are you? She says, it was amazing what Bill Nelson said. Definitely. And I wanted to talk about it now today. It's still not really picked up yet in the tabloids. I saw like Yahoo News did something on it, and I think Futurism, which is I think it's a blog, but it's like news, did something about it. They did a piece on it. So 2 things so far, but I'm expecting to see the media pick it up and gobble it up and spread it all, throughout everywhere, because it is significant. it is significant to have someone of that level of importance in a body like NASA talking in that manner about the phenomenon. You know, it doesn't seem like he is throwing the UFO possibility, like, you know, the otherworldly possibility out the window, which is what happens a lot when you hear people of that level have a conversation about the phenomenon. You know, it's obvious that it is difficult to consider for some people that the grays and all these things that UFO lore really encompassed all these years could actually be a reality. For us, it may be not so difficult, even though we might touch on some things in our discussion today that, for me, we need to work on with, you know, stepping outside of the box and thinking outside of the box. But in general, I think we're more open to the idea, obviously, because we're looking into it, and we have been for a long time, most of us. So let me know, guys, if the stream is running clear now, because I tried to close everything to see if that would fix it. Let me check out the live chat. I got my second jab, by the way, like 2 days ago, and I think it is I got side effects, but they went away, and I'm feeling better, but I think I might be like still have a little bit of a sore throat or something, or a cough. Let's see, share some of these. I'm going to share some of these comments on the screen. I see Tim F is here. He says hail. The chat is looking great, guys. UFO Video Addict says the F word to NASA. He says they're a bunch of liars. You know, people are talking about UFO. What is it? Hashtag amnesty. I don't know the hashtag exactly. I saw it popping up on Twitter. And yet the phenomenon in this story is full of cover-ups and full of deception and full of lies. And even what happened recently, you know, with the JFK documents that were supposed to get released that got, you know, kind of pushed back because it looks like whatever's in those documents could negatively affect somebody or the way people view maybe the United States, or I'm not really sure, you know. But that's definitely a good example of why this phenomenon, why this topic, why this story is so shrouded in mystery. Because it does tie into a lot of different things, and it does touch a lot of people's pockets and a lot of people's, you know, it shows up in their backyards. It's probably found a way into so many people's lives that we don't even know about. High up people, lower brass people. And I don't know if there will be a world where we put people on trial for this. You know, I don't think that's really what's going to happen, unless they find a scapegoat to do that. Because look, the secret is there because a government, the way the government kind of does things, right, is they tell you what they think you need to know with everything. That's how it works. Sometimes there are war crimes that get put on trial, and politicians and different things get put on trial. But with this, I feel like this is so deep and so vast, right? The amount of players and the amount of effects that it could have had on people throughout time, that putting people on trial at this point, I mean, I don't know. This is my opinion, right? This is what I'm thinking now. Who knows? Who knows when we find out, if we ever do really find out, which kind of contradicts with what I'm saying, which I don't think we're ever really going to find out the darkest, deepest stuff. At least not directly from the mouths of the people that were hiding it or perpetrating it. Not to say the government's the bad guy. I'm saying that's the way the government works. I think people get confused when I say these kinds of things. They think that I'm anti-government or something. I'm not. I'm just not a fan of politics and all those kinds of things. But I know why it's there. I know why it exists. I know why people believe in it, and I know why people turn to it. I'm not a big fan of those things, just like I'm not religious, but I respect people that are religious. I respect people that believe in politics. But I think that it's got a crooked side to it. It always has. It always will, because it's a popularity contest in a way that sort of guides society and tells us what we can and can't do, which lots of people need. Lots of people need that. But I think living for me in a foreign country after living most of my life in the United States and then moving somewhere else and seeing people bicker and argue about the same things when it came to politics, when it came to religion, really even made me go even further away from it. But it didn't make me say like, oh, it's all, they're all criminals, they're all bad guys. No, I think it's just the way of the game. There's that saying, don't hate the player, hate the game. You got to hate the game. And we're the ones that fuel it. It's like when they would watch people fight lions in a ring. Yeah, that was wrong. It sucked for the person in the ring fighting the lion. But we were all cheering and watching it happen. Most people were. Oh, I see Dylan said, your audio's fine, but the video's a bit choppy. Probably your upload rate. That's weird, man, because I'm using StreamYard. So I'm not sure if it's my internet or what. So I'm sorry, guys, if it's choppy. I don't think I can fix it, unfortunately, because it should be running fine. That's the thing about StreamYard, right? It's supposed to run fine. That's why I pay for it. I'm sorry if it's choppy, guys. I hope you guys can still enjoy this, even if it's choppy. Nala, by the way, is here, my co-host, who's normally always here, and she's currently snoring on the side of me. For those of you that have pups or any sort of animal companion, animal family member, you might know what that's about. So don't hate the government. Just know that there's certain ways they play the game, and that's the way they do it, and that's the way it'll probably be for a long time. We can fight for whatever we want to fight for. I don't think it's wrong for people to believe that people should be put on trial for keeping these secrets. But I think the real deep, dark secret keepers are probably like either on a deathbed or gone. It might be the son of the secret keeper, who then you have to consider all these different, possibility. I don't know. It's just this is so deep. It's not about like, who do we put on trial? It's about, let's just find the truth, can learn from it, saying, well, yeah, there was this back and forth about, oh, there's no UFO projects. Oh, yeah, there are. Oh, there's no UFOs. Oh, yeah, there are. Learn from that. So next time someone tells you there's no UFO projects, you think twice about it. I think that's really all we can do in these kinds of situations. But I'm kind of mad the video's choppy, but we'll continue because I'm watching it on StreamYard. It looks good, but I can see that it says my connection is unstable, which is not good, I guess. Let me check out the live chat. Let's see what's going on. I see Astral Aura or Ethereal. Sorry, dude. Ethereal Aura said, as long as audio is good, I'm good. Okay. I hope the audio is good. I mean, Ethereal Aura says, choices getting all the goods with the UAP amnesty or nothing at all. Yeah. I think it's noble that people want to do that. I don't think it's wrong. I think it's just really complicated, Trust me, I'm the kind of guy that would be like, yeah, put him on trial. You know, I know a lot of people have suffered because of this secret. A lot of people have really, really had horrible lives because of this. It's difficult. It messes up everybody's life. Most people, not everybody. The wrong choice of words there, but it messes up a lot of people's lives. It's not an easy thing. But yeah, let's talk about Bill Nelson. I saw some people saying that it didn't matter, that it was just sort of rehashing what had already been said. And I'm pretty sure that for people that have been looking into this topic for a long time, to hear the chief of NASA say what he said is very important. It is like a game changer. And you got the government saying that UFOs are real. You got NASA saying UFOs are real. They just don't know what they are. And they hope it's not an adversary. And from the looks of it, the way that the world is sort of reacting to this, the way the United States is reacting to this is, I don't think it's an adversary. I don't think they would be showing such a high level of weakness to the people if it was an adversary, a human adversary. You know, if it was something that they could combat or something that they could fight against, I think they would cover it up. They wouldn't want to freak people out. They don't want the world to know that they're losing, you know, the arms race or whatever. So we have to consider that. I don't know why people don't. I think they're just throwing that in there because nobody wants to look like the crazy guy that's talking about UFOs, except for me. You know, but these high level people, they're really, most of them are about their reputation. You know, they have their credentials and they don't want to lose them. They have their groups of friends and their lifestyle and whatever. They don't want to lose them. I'm just a normal guy. Me talking about UFOs isn't going to really do too much at this point, at least. Ethereal Aura said, I like Bill Nelson blabbing. I was actually really, really happy to see it, man. I was really happy to see it. I was, you know, most little kids want to be an astronaut at some point, and I definitely wanted to, you know, and I lost a little faith in that when I got a little older, because it's like, even though that it was stupid that I did that I lost faith in that. You can really be anything. You can really do anything. That saying that they tell you when you're a kid is real. When you turn into a teenager, it's like you forget, or you think like, no way, that's not real. I can't be the president. I can't be an astronaut. I can't be these amazing things. But then you realize that even astronauts are people, even presidents are people. Anybody can really be anything they want to be. They just got to try and do it. So I'm a fan of NASA because I obviously enjoy space, and I think space travel is awesome. And I'm pretty sure we're going to be venturing into space more and more. You know, we've already seen these, I guess, what are they called? Like tourist space travel, where they're sending people to space. Captain Kirk went to space. So who knows? I think by the time I'm a grandfather, it's going to be super accessible. It's not going to be so expensive to go to space. It's not going to be just millionaires and billionaires going to space. UFO Video Addict says, I don't value the opinions of strangers. You should. Honestly. You might as well, I mean, don't let it affect you, but sometimes somebody's opinion might be right. You never know. But obviously do your thing. I'm not saying it in the negative way. I'm saying it like sometimes you listen to a stranger, they drop some knowledge on you, and you're like, oh, okay. Ethereal Aura says, and just because I'm gonna start popping these up on the screen, and just because predecessors lied doesn't mean that everyone is. No, definitely not. I don't think everyone's lying. I think some people are fighting to get the truth out. I think This is a muddy topic. It's difficult to get the truth out in a way that people will believe it. After years and years and years of looking into cases, it can get wild, you know, and it is hard to tell somebody about the phenomenon in depth without them looking at you like, what are you talking about? Because there are some theories and some ideas that are tied to this that are heavy. You know, they really do affect our species and who we are, and it could actually be super important in our human history. It could be something that really played a big role in our human history that could actually change the way we look at the past and the future. I still believe the things that I believed 2 years ago. The conversation has been kind of flowing and growing in the direction that I thought it would. Disclosure caught me a little off guard, this sort of trickling effect, what's going on, the faces, the voices behind it caught me off guard. But now I feel kind of like, yeah, it's kind of going with what I thought, you know. I never believed that the phenomenon was all peace and love. I never believed it was all negative. I never believed that, you know, religions would topple and the world would, you know, economy would crash. I believe that it would happen. Eventually, people would start realizing that the phenomenon was real. Sorry, guys. There would be years of people, because once the phenomenon is real for everyone, right? Once it's something that is concrete and everyone is on the same page, there's still going to be years of more research that has to be done. Even if you've come face to face with the phenomenon, just because you've met the phenomenon or some beings or whatever, right? In my opinion, I still don't think you have a grasp of what the phenomenon fully is. Even if the phenomenon tells you what it is, you got to think of it like if you meet 5 human beings somewhere, they pick you up in a van, you've never met a human being before, and they tell you about themselves and their species and their culture. That's only 5 human beings you've met. Who knows what the rest of the species is like? Who knows what the rest of the cultures are like from, you know, from where they are from? I've had people come at me and say, well, I've met the phenomenon, so I know the truth. I know all the answers. And I don't think you can learn everything about the species or whatever the phenomenon is from just an encounter. Even if you have multiple encounters, you got to think of it like that. Maybe you're encountering the same group every time. Same group. It's like you run into the same group of people every time. You're only going to know those people in their lives. Think about how intricate our species is and how different each part of the world is and how different cultures are on every part of the world. It could be the same way for the phenomenon, you know, for whatever the occupants of these craft are. It could be that different groups of them have different customs, different ideas, different beliefs. They treat us differently. That would make sense, right? If they are intelligent beings, maybe they have their own culture like ours. And people don't really think about that. I think they bunch them all together. They love to think of them as AI, artificial intelligence, or future humans, or like insects. I get the insect thing because of the big eyes, you know, the features that they have. But it seems to me that if you look into history, you can see the phenomenon has been interacting with us for a very long time, right? And it seems to have a big role in who we are. It's been it's a game of cat and mouse. And we've been playing this game for years and years and years. Some people might call them gods. Some people might call them angels. Some people might call them spirits, demons, jinn, whatever. But I think it's part of the phenomenon, personally. And if you look at it that way, you start to see how it really ties into everything. It's just woven into who we are. So I don't think really that they're AI from the future or humans from the future. I think it is something that shares this planet with us because it seems to have been doing that for the last 70 plus years and more. Right? I'm saying 70 years because I'm talking about from the beginning of the flying saucers and all that in the media, but not in the history books. It seems like it's been something that has been going hand in hand with us, sort of sharing this planet, has a different use for the planet, maybe has a different way of viewing the world, viewing us, and it's just there. And for some reason, we can't keep up with it. We can't put our finger on it. But when you think of like the animal kingdom, and you imagine, I don't know, imagine walking through the jungle and coming across a group of wild animals, and you've got a cell phone. You drive up in a Tesla. Let's say there's a road. I'm gonna paint a whole picture. You're on a road going through the jungle. Tesla's probably not the best thing to drive through a jungle, but I'm saying it's on autopilot. You've got your iPhone. You're talking to your AI assistant or whatever while zooming somebody. When you get out of the car, you start Zoom calling somebody. The animal's not going to know anything. It's not going to understand what you're doing. And let's say you are same scenario. You're going through the jungle. You see some wild animals. Maybe there's a group of wild dogs. And there's one dog that's like hurt or abandoned. And you pick it up and you put it in the car and you take it. The dog is probably like, what? I just went on a trip in a flying saucer. You know what I mean? You got to look at it as simple and basic as you can to really understand that we overthink so much when it comes to this phenomenon. We overthink so much. It could be really simple. It could be that maybe they've been sharing the planet with us for this whole time. They've been somehow so elusive in the sense of we just don't get it. We just can't understand it. They don't really need to hide that bad. You know, they don't need to do that much hiding because we wouldn't believe it if we saw it. That kind of a situation. I could talk for hours about that, but I saw too much information said I like Lou. I also like Lou. Even though I gave you guys a speech about the government and what I think, you know, how the government works and all that, I like Lou. What can I say? I think he, you know how people say, put your money where your mouth is? He didn't put his money where his mouth is, but he did what he said he was going to do, and he's doing it. That's why I ride with TTSA too. I remember when people were laughing at Tom DeLonge. You can deny it all you want, but you can't laugh at Tom DeLonge. He can share whatever he wants. He can do whatever he wants. He is a rock star. He was part of Blink-182, so you should expect his humor to be sort of the way it is. But he did what he said he was going to do, and he did some amazing stuff. I really don't like the divide we're seeing so much, bringing Lou up again. There's a strong portion of people, I don't know if huge is the right word, that dislike Lou Elizondo. And it's that bad relationship scenario. You know, don't trust the government. Oh, he worked for the government. And I get it. Totally. For me, it was like here on my trust. When I first saw it all pop up, I thought it was so strange. You know, I was like, what is this? This can't be real. This can't be happening. It's like, how do we trust these kinds of people? But at the end of the day, they're doing what they set out to do. It's happening. Whatever they're doing, you know, whatever it is, it's for the American people. I am not in America. You know, so my search is apart from it because I feel like I'm doing this for everybody. I'm searching for everyone. I may not have the resources, the tools that some people have, but me sitting down and talking to you, wherever you are in the world, I want to have this discussion with you because it's not about Argentina. It's not about any part of the world. It's about all of us. So yeah. Let me check out the live chat again. Bug says, I agreed. I think they've been here beforehand. Perhaps somehow they live along alongside us, with us being able to see them. We're going to touch a little bit on something, or we can jump into it now. We've talked about Bill Nelson. It was really, I just wanted to touch on it for a second. Oh, guys, I think there's a soccer game. Maybe that's why my internet is running so slow. If you guys can hear that, a second ago, people started yelling. In Argentina, when there's a goal, and you can tell that when there's a soccer game on, as soon as there's a goal, people start yelling off of their balconies. Like either they're yelling and cheering or they're screaming in anger. And then they'll start like yelling from balcony to balcony. So yeah, that might be why the stream is a little bit choppy tonight. Sorry about that. But I just wanted to touch briefly on the Bill Nelson thing. I think the media is going to pick it up. The tabloids are going to pick it up. Tomorrow we'll probably see it. I shared some Instagram stories saying, hey, make sure to keep an eye out because this is probably going to pop up. It's good. It's more discussion about the phenomenon. It's more people having a healthy take on it and saying, yeah, there's something there. Not saying, oh, no, laughing it off or scoffing it off. It's crazy that people are angry at Bill Nelson's approach to it. It's like, just let him say it. It's fine. It's like he's literally on our side. He's not laughing at it. That's the important part. He's saying that it's a possibility. I see one of my godmothers in the chat. What are you doing? She said, interesting. Hey, Gabby. That's funny. Let me see this. Carl says, show me a viable alternative to Lou. Someone who will do what he's doing. I don't think there is, Carl. He's the guy doing it. I mean, I understand what you're saying. You're trying to say, like, show me somebody who's done what he's done, And there hasn't been. No, he's a game changer, man. That's why he's important. That's why I respect him. And I think the haters are just touchy, and I get it. I get why they're touchy, but I also think sooner or later they're going to have to just say, yo, we can't do anything about this. Let's see if we can get some good out of this, and let's give the guy a chance. I did months and years ago, and I think he's doing great. So far, so good. You know what I mean? I tip my hat to Lou Elizondo. I really do. And to a lot of people in the community. A lot of people have been getting a lot of hate lately. I think it's kind of weird. It seems like right before the Pentagon released that the report, right? The community was strong. At least online, it was strong. And you could tell the buzz was there and people were kind of supporting everybody. Everybody was ready. I think the problem was people got the misconception that there was going to be like truth bombs in that report. And then it wasn't going to be handled like every other government report that ever comes out. There's the classified version and the declassified version. And unfortunately, the people hear what the people are supposed to hear. And that's the way it goes. That doesn't mean that we're not in a different viewpoint and in a different level than we were 10 years ago when it comes to this topic. And people can argue till they're blue in the face about that. But I don't see what they're saying. I understand that we're still in the same cycle. We're still dealing with the same tool. We're still like having to go through governments and these sort of powers at B would be the way to say it. The powers of B to get to the truth behind the topic. But slowly, you see the chief of NASA talking about it. You see the Pentagon's studying it. You learn about programs like OSAP and ATIP. You see TTSA pop up. You see where we are today. It's an evolution. What the pilots saw, people aren't saying, oh, no, they didn't see anything. They're not laughing at them. They think they saw something. People are still afraid to talk about aliens. I said it a long time ago. The word extraterrestrial, the word alien will still ruin the dinner party. It's still difficult for people to grasp. I think there's a negative idea behind the word alien because of, unfortunately, cinema and media and everything has painted this idea of these little, like, I don't know, like little, like ET the extraterrestrial, like some little weird being. When, I mean, there's a lot of weird human beings out there too. Like, I think the word alien, just like, I've tried to say this to people about, I don't know, when they talk about beings from other realms. I'm like, okay, so it's an alien, but they think it's a negative thing, right? For me to say, okay, it's an alien. No, I'm saying it's not from this realm. So anything not from this realm is considered an alien because it's an alien. It's not negative to say that, it's just unless it lives here on Earth and it's got a zip code and it lives somewhere here. Maybe if they live in the ocean, they're not aliens, right? I don't know. But Carl Anderson says Lou gave Bill Nelson kudos for being truthful. I did see that. Jedi Camper, man. I listened to your music the other day, bro. For those of you that don't know, Jedi makes some music. You make good music, man. I love your music. It's great. If you want, ever share it down in the comments. Leave links to your music down in the comments. Any of you guys that have anything you want to share down in the comments, make sure to leave links down there. Share your theories, your thoughts, all that kind of stuff down in the comments. So let's talk real quick about George Knapp's book, Skinwalkers at the Pentagon. So he dropped it. I right away I bought the Kindle, or like the downloadable version, right? The Kindle version. I don't have a Kindle, so I just bought it off Amazon. For those of you that don't know, like I said earlier, I live in Argentina, and books here are expensive. They're like, they could be like 5,000 pesos or 10,000 pesos, which is a lot. It's a lot. But the online version was like 1,000. It was like $10. So I was like, cool. Picked it up. I got it right away. I didn't have to wait for it. I started reading it. The breakdown between, what OSAP was, how OSAP and ATIP were different, was good to read and see, even though George has been talking about that in the past. I think there was a lot of confusion there about the funding and why Elizondo was talking about it a certain way. The book seemed to be detailing it to breaking it down in a form that people maybe weren't used to reading or seeing and getting confused. I'm not going to talk about that because I think we all know what the discussion was, and I think it's fine. I don't think anything was really weird. Anything strange was really pointed out in the book. I did have my moment where I was like kind of confused too, so I get it. But the real important part of the book for me was seeing that OSAP was looking into Skinwalker Ranch, the stories from Skinwalker Ranch, and then how the phenomenon is sort of tied into, it ties in, with Skinwalker Ranch to affecting people in, I think it was Van Nuys or some part of California. I said I read it a week ago and I read it super fast, so I'm not going to spoil anything for you guys, I promise. There are some great UFO cases in the book. And my last video that I made about the Prince of Liechtenstein, I think I said that right, Hans Adam II, I actually got the idea from the book. There's a little line, a sentence in the book where he's talking about, where George talks about who he believed were like private industry people, or just private sector people, not private sector people, private industry, I guess is the way you would say it. Just people that had money to fund research projects that have been doing that and have been helping in that area and have done a good job. He brought up obviously Bigelow, which some people hate Bigelow, some people love Bigelow, like everybody in this community. Some people hate me, some people love me. And he brings up the Prince, but it's like two lines. And I remember when he brings it up, I remember reading about the Prince back a few years ago and thinking, oh, that's interesting. There's like a Prince somewhere that's like funding UFO conventions. So I dug into it and I found out that, yeah, he was interested in the phenomenon. He seems like this, the story is that he had like a close encounter when he was a kid. He saw a UFO, and his family as well had seen UFOs, and he was definitely funding UFO conventions and books and different projects, which is fascinating because there you're seeing how the phenomenon really does affect so many people. You know, this UFOs is not just it's not stuck between the barriers of a border. This really does go where it wants and does what it wants. That's why earlier I said I don't think it's really hiding too much, because a lot of the times that people do see UFOs, if the beings in the craft are intelligent, they have to at least assume that whatever their propulsion systems are, whatever's happening, you know, because we see these lights in the sky or whatever it is, the beings in the craft have to know that we can see them. You know, they got to be like, whatever, you know, like they can see us. Okay, screw it. Who cares? Which I think happens a lot. I mean, I think that's the only way we do see them. I used to say it's kind of like driving down the street with your high beams on, and bumping music. Of course, people are going to see you. It'd be different if they were like stealth, and the only way we could see them always, you know, the only way anyone could have a UFO encounter was if you had like some radar or something, and that was the only way you could see them. But I think it's much more simple. It's much more simple than we make it out to be at times. A UFO man says, I like your logo in the right corner. I like your logo too, brother. I see the little logo there. Thank you, man. Jedi says, just listening and learning. I want to learn from you guys, man. So hit me up in the live chat. Let me know what you guys are thinking, what you thought of George Knapp's book. To get back to the book, I mean, it's a light read, but it's definitely something that I think you're going to want to have and you're going to want to look into. There were large parts of the community that were totally not on the same page as the book because they thought it was too woo for them. There's a large section of the community that is very nuts and bolts. They're very like, I got to touch it. I got to feel it. I got to see the data. And it's funny because it's like you're looking into flying saucers. You're looking into UFOs. You're looking into Tic Tacs. You're looking into people having close encounters with small gray beings with large eyes. Like you have to be a little open to the possibility that if that's real, many other things could be real that we thought weren't. I think that's one of our biggest flaws is like considering this just one thing. You know, considering this just one thing. We got to start thinking outside the box, man. Even when you think about UFOs, sometimes you put yourself in a box, which I think people don't realize. You see, Dylan says, I was reading the first two Castaneda books recently. Whether you believe Don Juan was real or not, or if he was legit, Yaqui or Nahual, there's some truth to the teachings, in my opinion. Well, that's what I mean. Well, that's we could say that about the Skinwalkers at the Pentagon. Read it, pick up the knowledge from it. You don't have to take it all as factual. You don't if you don't want to, but you don't have to just throw the book out the window. I made a whole live about George Knapp and how really he's been in this game for so long. You know, he's been looking into this topic for so long. People hate his association with Bob Lazar because he was the guy who brought Bob Lazar to the table. Some people obviously hate that story. They think he's a fake fraud, which again affects George Knapp, Jeremy Corbell for making the documentary. They bring up, you know, negative things about Bob's story and some of the shady stuff that's happened in his past. And even when they made the documentary, there was some shady stuff, I guess, that happened there that I don't know if we don't want to talk about it today because we could spend hours talking about Bob Lazar. But I think George Knapp is somebody, he's a soldier. You know, he's been writing for us and for this topic, trying to get the truth and really digging and doing good work for years. The thing about this is sometimes you might look into a case, you might find something, and it might not be a UFO. It might not be anything at the end of the day. You might spend 3 weeks looking into it, and then you realize that it's a hoax or it's been debunked already. Like, it is difficult. So imagine how difficult it is for a reporter or for somebody of George Knapp's level of dedication, because if you think about how many years he's been doing this, to spend a lot of time doing this, to spend the hard work, the effort, to share it with our community, and then to automatically get sort of like booed on, you know what I mean? I think it's negative. I think it's something that we have to work on, because some of these voices, you might not agree with what they're saying now, but you might agree with what they're saying in a few years. And they're powerful players to have on your side. It's funny that people don't understand the saying. Like, I like Knapp, right? I really do. He's like one of my heroes, honestly. Just because of the way he's built his career and what he's done. You know, what he's done, the stories he's gotten out, and his dedication to the topic. I'm inspired by that. But we can use this in reference to people that really hate on Luis Elizondo. The real way to get to the truth, the real way to play a game right, the real way to do things right is like this. You keep your friends close and your enemies closer. You know, somebody somebody from the Twitterverse, somebody from the web the other day told me that they believe that there were paid CIA heads creating content to promote Luis Elizondo. Like, for example, talking heads like me, right? And I thought that was the funniest thing I'd ever heard. I said, do you understand how difficult it is to have a YouTube channel and be my age and have a YouTube channel that's not like if it was exploding and I was taking care of my wife and my dog and paying my bills with this, then it wouldn't be as difficult. This is more just from passion and inspiration and what I like. You know, I do this because I love it. I enjoy it. So to hear that, I'm like, oh man. And there's so many creators out there like me. There's so many people that are researching this topic, that are researchers or have a blog or whatever, you know, that are just looking into this topic because they're interested and I like Luis Elizondo, whatever. But I think what they lack is that idea, that concept is keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Because sometimes you're going to need a favor. Sometimes you're going to need, if you really want to get stuff done, you really want to get where you need to get, you can't just go alone against the world. You know, you got to team up with even people you don't like to team up with. You got to have discussions with people you don't want to have discussions with. You got to knock on doors that you don't want to knock on. It's going to happen sooner or later. And especially if they're big players. You know, I might sit down with somebody one day that I'm maybe not that fond of, but I'm not going to push them away because I know they might have access to a door that I need to knock on sooner or later. If I want to get to the truth, this is not a game. This is not a simple game of chess. This is like if you're standing there and the board is long, it never ends. So to hear people say like, oh no, you know, like really breaking down Chris Mellon, TTSA and all that stuff, I'm like, just work with them. Just work with them. If you really don't believe them, get to know them, find out if they're really lying, and then go from there. Don't just make assumptions about people you don't know, about something you don't know, about things that you don't understand, just because you're just judging books by their cover, which is totally what everyone did with George Knapp's book. Oh my God. Why did we do that? That was horrible. That was terrible. Back to the book, man. People went crazy on the book cover. I get it. It's not the coolest book cover, but the only cool book cover I've ever seen is the one that the Signal and Olaf Rockner did for Graham's book, the Foo Fighters book. That's like the coolest cover, the coolest art on a book ever. If you guys haven't picked up that book, make sure to go pick up Graham Randall's book, his latest book. I don't want to screw up the title, Graham, but I gotta. I'll send them over to your Twitter. Go over to his Twitter. I think it's. Let me see. I probably got it on my thread. But yeah, I think you guys know who I'm talking about. So everyone was hating on this book, and they went as far as to say that the book cover was so bad that it was gonna take away from the credibility of the topic. Oh my Lord. Oh my Lord. Give the topic a little bit more credit at this point. You know, not everyone's going to read that book. That book is for our circles and for people that are a little versed on the topic. It's not going to be given out in primary schools. You know what I mean? That's something for somebody that's searching for the truth. They're probably not even going to care what's on the cover of the book. They just want to know what's inside the book. You know what I mean? Jeez. What is? Let me see this. The CIA. Carl Anderson said the CIA is giving Gouch free beer to promote Lou. Imagine. Oh my God. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys, man. That idea that you could sell out, even the idea that you could become, I don't know, like, I would applaud somebody in this community if they could have the level of success that Casey Neistat had, right? In the creator community, like my channel or anything. I would applaud them. You know why? Because then there would be millions of people watching and hearing you talk about UFOs. There would be millions of people seeing what it's like to be somebody that looks into the topic. It would help normalize the topic. Who cares if they make money doing it? You know, they need to feed their families. They need to do something for a living. Why not do this for a living? I think it's completely ridiculous when I hear people say those kinds of things. And I think they don't understand the power that this type of communicating has, and these types of platforms have. These type of platforms influence people. They do. That's why they're called influencers. Even if it's something as silly as some kid dancing on TikTok, then there's a million kids out there dancing the same way that person was dancing. I prefer it to be somebody out there talking about UFOs in a healthy way and having an interesting discussion and showing people that, yes, you can talk about this topic without having a tinfoil hat on all day. So yeah, back to what we were saying. The cover of that book was bad. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't amazing, right? But who cares? The content inside the book was great. It's like 200 something pages. You can get through it quick. So I suggest everybody go pick it up, go check it out, put it next to your collection of books. You're going to enjoy it. There's one part that I'm sure you all heard about where they see this. I think it was Robert Bigelow. I think it was Latsky, Robert Bigelow Lasky, and I can't forget this person's name, but it was like it was a female. I don't know if she. I can't forget who. I'm forgetting who she was, right? But whatever. It was three people on the ranch. That's the important part. And they're like out at night trying to see if they can see something happen on Skinwalker Ranch. They separate from Bigelow and they go down, I think, off the mesa, and they're like out in, they always say like Homestead 1 and Homestead 2 and all this kind of stuff. I think it was next to Homestead 2. And they see this like weird, it's funny because the description they gave it was so out there, right? That I thought, if they wanted to make something up, they would have definitely picked something way cooler to make up. It was like a pig with like spikes or some kind of scales on its back, like a dinosaur, right? It's like a pig-sized creature running like sluggishly through, I guess, their field of view. And they didn't film it, they didn't record it, which is what everyone was saying. But I thought it was funny because people were talking about this beaver pig dinosaur thing, and they were all obviously losing their shit about it, because they were like, no, I can totally believe in mantis beings, but I can't believe in this. So when I read it, I was like, oh, cool, whatever. That's interesting. The people were losing it online. And I literally thought, the first thing I thought was, if you wanted to make something up, you'd make something up way cooler than this. This is not even like, this is just weird. Like, that's my one argument that I didn't tell anybody that was making fun of the pig dinosaur or whatever creature that they saw in the book at that one point of the book. Because I didn't want to like spend five minutes talking about it with anybody that was not going to listen. But yeah, the book's good. Pick it up. I really don't want to give you guys like a breakdown chapter by chapter or really like do that, because that's not what I do really. And I think it's going to spoil the book for you. That's not the only thing in the book. It's not all about Skinwalker Ranch. There's a lot of valuable information in the book. It shows you kind of how Robert Bigelow had his hands in a lot of things. He knows a lot. And he is, like one of my videos says, I believe he's one of the UFO truth keepers. He knows a lot. And yeah, I hope you guys read it. Let me know if you guys read it. Let me know down in the chat. Let's see. Carl Anderson says, remember New York UFO videos? He just got pissed and then left. Thoughts? Yes, I do remember him. I was not a fan of the rubber duck video. I thought it was interesting. I didn't like hate on it or anything. I'm just saying that I wasn't like super excited about it. I thought it was the way it was moving and the speed it was moving at, really could be something earthly, I think. But at the same time, who knows, right? But again, right now, in the current state of this discussion, at least with how people are taking it and approaching it, if you share something, this hype up that people do, or like, I got something, I'm going to drop it in 2 days, I'm going to drop it in 3 days, I'm going to drop it in 4 days, it is kind of negative. Corbell does that. I see why people get mad about it. His stuff, though, went like viral and went all over the place, even though people thought it was all kinds of things, the upside down pyramids. But the rubber duck, the rubber duck, which I think I said this too. I put a tweet out there that said, we gotta change the names up, guys. We gotta stop with, Tic Tac's cool, okay, I get it. But rubber duck, we got Tic Tac, rubber duck, upside down pyramids. We gotta think of some cooler names. I can't imagine some government officials or some scientists talking about rubber ducks. Like, if you guys haven't seen that video, I think if you put rubber duck UFO video, it's going to pop up on YouTube. But he got mad, but he was also like openly, I was about to say it in Spanish, discutiendo. I was going to say he was openly arguing with people online about it. He was just not having it. He was not taking anything from the haters, which is, I don't think it's that bad either. I said this before. I don't like this. I always said it was good that we all work together, that we be healthy, and that we treat each other with respect. But I also think there's points where like people will disrespect you online, anywhere, and you need to say something. You need to stand up for yourself. And if somebody disrespects you, I prefer them to disrespect me, actually, than to not. So then I know who they are. So if a troll comes up to me, I prefer him not to sweet talk me and smile in my face if he sees me on a live or if we want to panel together. I prefer them to tell me how they feel. So the next time I see them, I know how to handle or assess the situation and how to treat that person. I don't like fake kindness. I like real kindness. So I guess him freaking out at people, I didn't see that play out. And he just disappeared. I had seen something about him disappearing, but what can we do? That happens sometimes. The community chews you up and spits you out, or You just don't want to put up with any trolls or any. You don't want to deal with it, which makes sense too. Pigs in a blanket, much better. Yeah, we got to stop with these names, man. The title for you, who's going to show up and talk about it? Oh, NASA chief Bill Nell. The NASA chief was going to show up on my channel and talk about UFOs. Keep stuff. I'm glad that you thought that was going to happen. Thank you. That you think that my channel would get the NASA chief on here. If Bill is watching this ever, I wouldn't have a problem talking to you, but I don't think I'm there yet. Thank you for being here, though. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make it like clickbait. That wasn't the point at all. When you said that and I read it, I was like, oh, I kind of get what you're saying. But that wasn't the point. I also think those who are subscribed to my channel and those who know me probably know that that's not going to happen. Hey, Project Unity. He says, dropping in to send my love and support. You're awesome, Diana Gaucho. Thank you, Project Unity. That's Jay, man. Jay's the man. If you guys aren't subscribed to his channel, make sure to go check him out. We did a fireside chat a long time ago, Jay. We got to do another one. And you're doing great content, man. I like how Jay is one of those people that truly thinks outside the box. I'm going to leave it there. My boy thinks outside the box. He really does. Oh, one last thing I want to touch on. Before I do that, too, I want to say thank you to those that are listening to this as a podcast. And for those of you here in the live chat, guys, really does mean the world to me. I see Sasha. Sasha, I didn't say what's up to you. How are you, Sasha? Jay said Project Unity. Project Unity said Fireside Chat 2.0 for sure. Definitely. We got to do that, Jay. I'm down. Just let me know. Anytime, man. I wanted to, the other day I reached out to you guys on Twitter and I sent out a tweet and I just said tell me how looking into the phenomenon has changed or affected your life. I wasn't going to read this out, but some of these were really nice and I'm not going to share, the username or the handle, the Twitter handle, but I'm just going to read some of these so you guys hear some of the cool ones, right? There really were no negative ones. There was one where I feel like it kind of negatively affected their life because it seemed like their family couldn't deal with them having a close encounter. But I totally could see how that could happen to somebody, and my heart goes out to those people that are dealing with that, that are maybe experiencing the phenomenon firsthand and trying to talk to people about it and they're not listening, or they are labeling them or treating them as maybe there's something wrong with them, which obviously it can be the case at times. But I think anytime somebody has a close encounter with the phenomenon, it's going to sound that way at first, right? Especially if you're talking to somebody who is not open to the idea at all, has no idea about it. So my heart goes out to those people. And that's why we need to normalize the topic and we need to educate people on the history of the phenomenon. So let's see. So I asked the question and I shared my opinion first. So I'm going to read it one more time. Tell me how looking into the phenomenon has changed or affected your life. If you want, guys, leave it down, share down in the comments how it's affected your life or in the live chat. But I'm going to read these out. So I'm not looking at the live chat right now because I'm looking at Twitter. But I said, seeing as I was asking the question, it changed my view on how I see humanity, life, and the world. I'm more open and aware. I don't fret too much on mundane stuff. And I've had some epic adventures and met amazing friends like you guys and people on my journeys down the rabbit hole. So one of the responses was, it took me from a materialist perspective to one of total wonder, which is, I think, kind of what I feel too. You know, there's moments where I feel like I'm more focused on trying to read something and learn something and look at the stars than I am on picking up a new pair of Jordans. And I should probably get a new pair of Jordans though, even though I don't think I can afford it. But the next good one is somebody said that they learn more about being human, right? Which I think is true. It should bring us together to understand that we're not the top of the food chain. You know, it should help us see that we're all the same. I think we're raised and taught to see people as different, and we're really not that different at all. At the end of the day, we're all very similar. We might have different cultures and customs, different beliefs, but at the end of the day, we're all skin and bone, and we all end up in the same place. So this one was funny. They said, for one, my neck hurts. Because once you start looking into this, man, you spend a lot of time looking into the sky, that's for sure. And if it's not from looking at the sky, it's from researching. I get total neck cramps from researching. I'll spend hours just like reading something or like laying in a weird position, looking online for something. I see one of them was really cool. He said, like, throughout the years, a long time ago, he was considered eccentric for believing in the phenomenon, and then people like considered him a little crazy, right? And now they're like, now with the news and everything that's going on, they're indifferent. And I guess that's great. That's what we're trying to do here with these kinds of talks, and the whole community is trying to push this forward. This idea that it's not strange to believe in this. It's not weird to talk about this. And another person that said it opened up their mind to look further than their own society and their paradigms. That's what it should be doing, man. It shouldn't just be about nuts and bolts UFOs and about national security and all this kind of stuff. It should really be about learning the secrets of our history, our past, and what it could teach us about ourselves. Another one says, I look up a lot more. Here's one. It completely changed my way of thinking. It's helped me to actually experience strange happenings. So them being open to it sort of made it happen. It brought the phenomenon to them, right? It's like staring into the vastness of the dark. Like sooner or later, it's going to stare back, right? They said happenings, orbs, strange anomalies, synchronicities, galore, vivid dreams. He says it all could just be a coincidence, but I sense it. I can feel consciousness. I stop and take life in. It's strange. But I think it's awesome. I don't think it's strange. You stop and take life in. He also said it made them less afraid. You know, some people dealing with anxiety or different things that you have to get through. I mean, I don't know how to say this because I don't want to say like anxiety is an illness. I have anxiety, actually. I realized like recently, like in the last maybe year, right? Just when we got locked down and all that, I realized like I'm a really anxious person. I'm really calm on the outside, but inside of my mind is like running a lot. And sometimes I'll use different things, like, you know, I'll have a coffee or I'll drink a glass of Coke. I'll do different things like to try to like calm down that anxiety, and sometimes it makes it worse. So lately I've been trying to like really clear my mind of stress and be like really centered and creating more. I think part of what slowed me down when I stopped the last 2 months was that anxiety, not because of the UFO topic or any of that, which is funny, right? You'd think I'd have anxiety for going down the rabbit hole and seeing crazy stuff all the time. No, I get it from like normal everyday stuff like job and just the trials and tribulations of life, I guess you'd say, right? Yeah, and they also said it's the kind of subject that you never stop learning. It's so vast and intricate. I agree 100%. Let's see. It's comprehensive, an ongoing learning experience on a range of subjects. I don't know if you guys can hear those dogs outside, but they're going crazy. I'm sorry. One day, maybe we'll have a studio, and I will like make sure to get it away from sidewalks and cars and dogs. um, so back to what I'm saying. This person said it's comprehensive, ongoing learning experience on a range of subjects, challenging myself at every pace, and it still does to this day and always will. I think that's totally I'm on the same page 100% with that. Somebody said, well, I'm a ufologist. How's that? This is a cool one. More respect for Earth. Way better understanding of how the government and military are organized. They also started a Twitter account, which is probably they said is probably the worst thing that they've gotten from looking into the topic. And they put a little, like they laughed about it, which, you know, I could see social media is toxic. It's got its positives and its negatives, right? The next person said, the phenomenon made me rethink myself, my whole worldview. I can say that my consciousness found balance with my subconsciousness, meaning I am in peace with myself and a better human being than before. Very cool. Somebody else said, I love a cosmic mystery. The best course in human psychology ever. Made me realize how little we know as a species and how we think way too highly of ourselves as a species. And also made me question virtually anything presented as truth by governments and mainstream institutions. This one gave me a purpose to work for and a passion for something I love. It's given me a lot of great friends. Published my writing, and the best part that I get to help people on a daily basis, which is rewarding in itself. Yeah, it's awesome. This one's cool too. Cured my depression and gave me a lot of great friendships with people all across the globe. Reality changing. It's been my life for 40 years, along with the things that go with it. I mean, there's so many positives. I was hoping to see all these positives, but I was a little worried when I asked the question, how has the phenomenon affected you, in your life or throughout your life? I was worried that I might get some really dark ones or negative ones, and they were all positive. And they're almost like it just really opened people up to look at the world for what it is, and I think that's really important. I wasn't going to read all these, so I'm not going to read them all, but I want to thank you guys that did share your, how it affected you. I think that's really cool. It's a really good way to like bring the community together and see like, look, there's a lot of positive things happening from looking into this phenomenon and going down the rabbit hole. It's not all dark and gloomy. It's not all tinfoil hats and scary people. I'm back here. I can see the chat now. I like how Project Unity just said, calming down anxiety with coffee is an oxymoron, brother. Yeah, I agree. But I also think back in the day, I probably would have tried to calm it down with something else. But these days, I grab whatever I can to try to calm it down. It's probably not the smartest thing to do. Here's what EM says. I was camping under the stars and saw 3 lights in the shape of a triangle. It was silent and huge. Limklin Lake Adirondacks. Limklin Lake. Where is that, man? Let me know where that is. About a month ago, it was not a plane. It's interesting, man. And people see UFOs all the time. People see UFOs all the time, which is really the craziest part. That so many people have seen this and have come into contact with this. Guys, I've been literally months now, really digging hard on the history, really looking into any old footage I can find, any old files I can find, any old cases I can find, anything, just not the popular stuff, anything, right? Oh, New York. Thanks, Ian. Have you checked, Ian? Just to let you know, this is what I always tell people, like, go online, put in the date, the time, the area, and just go through like different social media platforms or go through anything you can to see if anyone else posted about it or saw it or maybe took a picture of them. You know, you never know. You got to think when you're looking up, there's hundreds of people, thousands of people around looking up too at the same exact time, probably. So definitely check that out and keep watching the sky for sure. I'm gonna share this up here, but I've been really digging into history, man. And I think the most frustrating part for me has been looking at everything piece by piece, slice by slice, nugget by nugget, all the way back as far as I can, and then jumping back onto UFO Twitter or jumping back into the conversation that we're having now today and hearing people talk about things. And I'm going like, I just read like 5 days worth of information talking about the same exact thing, using the same exact phrases and the same exact words that we're using right now from 50 years ago. So let's stop doing this now and think of a way to evolve this conversation, evolve the words that we're using, evolve the labels we're throwing on this to push us forward, you know? But it's difficult. It's definitely difficult. And I think we're all doing our best. And, you know, the creators out there, the people, the researchers, you guys on Twitter, everyone that is sharing their thoughts, their opinions, their theories, we're doing what we can. But I think we need to focus on trying to like evolve this conversation. Let me see. Andy says, I had my dentist remove a piece of metal from my tooth one day and started jumping about like he won the lottery. I found the whole thing both confusing and unbelievably interesting. Well, I don't know why you said that, Andy, but maybe you guys were talking about something in the live chat that I didn't see. The lights traveled as one. Cool. Well, I'm telling you, Ian, make sure all you guys, if you want, look for UFO sightings in this area, right? That I'm sharing on the screen and see if maybe what Ian is saying has been seen before in the same area, in the same location. It might not be the same day. It might be a spot that is frequented by this, whatever craft is or whatever he saw, right? That's a good way of looking into things. I do that a lot. I'll see like an area that's very, had a prominent case or an important case. Maybe it's not the Phoenix Lights or something, but any case, and I'll focus on that area and try to see if I can find anything about the area or anything about other people in that area that may have had a close encounter. And I'll look in, newspaper articles and different web pages. I'll use the Wayback Machine sometimes. I think it's just a good way to think about it, because UFO hotspots seem to be a reality. When you look at the list of UFO hotspots and what people consider a UFO hotspot, you find out that a UFO hotspot really could be anywhere. I think Skinwalker Ranch may be like a actual hotspot, I guess. But if Skinwalker Ranch exists, right, if it's a reality, the things that we're reading about this place and what we're hearing about this place, it's not the only spot on the entire planet. And maybe there's a Skinwalker apartment. You know what I mean? Maybe there's a little plot of land somewhere, a tiny closet somewhere that has the same strange anomalies for some reason occurring in that little tiny space. So it's very interesting to think about. All right, guys, I am going to end the live here, but I want to thank you guys so much for joining me here tonight. And do me a favor, copy the link and share it on Twitter. Drop me a comment on Twitter. I'm always open to talk. If you want to like really talk to me, you can shoot me a DM. If I'm not following you, let me know. Like, shoot me a message. Say, hey, you're not following, or follow me back or whatever. I'll follow you. We can have a private conversation on Twitter, whatever you want. I'm sorry if this video was laggy or if I was coughing too much or whatever. Like I said, I got the second jab recently because I want to travel. And thank you guys. That's really the most important thing I wanted to say here. Thank you for sitting through this. And anytime you guys come here, the conversations are great. I want to really let you guys know that it does mean the world to me that you join me. For those of you that are listening to this as a podcast, thank you. For those of you that are watching this as a replay, thank you. Make sure to like this video, guys. And if you are not subscribed and you enjoyed this, do me a favor and subscribe. There will be more content on the channel. I posted 2 videos this last week. The live should be now on Sundays, and I should probably be posting a video, at least one a week with a live. Let's keep searching for the truth and keep having these awesome discussions. Thank you to my Patreons as well, and we'll talk soon, guys. Before I go, I'm going to leave you guys with a little something. Hopefully it plays without freezing up or anything. Yeah, guys, we'll talk soon.
Do you believe in aliens?
I'm absolutely convinced. That's all there is to it. There has been and is an existing presence, an ET presence. And I spent millions and millions. I probably spent more as an individual than anybody else in the United States has ever spent on this subject.
Do you imagine that in our space travels we will encounter other forms of intelligent life?
You don't have to go anywhere.
You can find it here.
Yeah.